Response to 01 and 02. Commence the attack.
Hello, listeners. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stomp This Way. The intro may have faded in late there because I forgot to slide the slider up before I hit record, but I'm not starting over. Damn it. Anyway, how are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing just fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Sooners lost this weekend in Red River. Quite devastating. Sent me into a bit of a depressive spiral. But NFL Sunday's been a bit better. My favorite players won. Rodgers won. Baker Mayfield won. Packers won. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit better today.
A little bit better.
A little bit better. But anyway, yeah. So we got something a bit different today. A bit more mainstream, perhaps. We're getting out of obscure indie Japaneseville and into classic 80s creature features. American creature features.
America.
F yeah. Yeah, we're reviewing Alligator today. Yeah.
Yes.
Had you seen this movie before?
No.
You know, I felt like I had vague memories of it watching it today. I might have caught it or part of it many years ago, but it was basically like watching it brand new today. So, yeah, it was a fun experience, or was it? We're gonna find out. But anyway, you want some production trivia?
Sure.
All right. Well, this was announced by producer Brandon Chase in 1976, and he is a producer of a film we have reviewed. I think we did, The Giant Spider Invasion. So, yeah, returning producer. It is inspired by the urban legends of alligators in the sewers under NYC. You know, you flush the alligator down the toilet and then it grows up in the sewers or whatever. Mm-hmm. The alligator was accomplished with a 36-foot rubber prop that had an aluminum frame, and it was operated by two men from the inside. I think they crawled into it back to back, and like the one guy's front arms operated the front legs and the other's arms operated the back legs. And then I think they did have like a separate tail prop for close-ups, a separate head prop for close-ups. And of course, there was some real alligator footage as well. When Teague came on board to direct, he had his collaborator, Sales, come on and rewrite the script. They'd already had a script written, but Teague was like, this is terrible. And then the other writer came on and was like, yeah, it was pretty terrible. And apparently in the original script, like the alligator never came out of the sewer, and it was apparently pretty bland. But anyway, Teague originally wanted to make a legit horror movie, but changed his mind when they tested the alligator prop and the crew immediately burst into laughter. So he was like, oh, well, I guess we know what we're in for. Did you know that actor Bryan Cranston, yes, that Bryan Cranston, worked on the film as a special effects assistant in charge of making the alligator guts for the end of the movie? Not the only Breaking Bad connection, as we'll talk about Robert Forster here in a little bit. But
Anyway. You see him as a special effects person.
I know. You got to start on the effects side of things. This was filmed in LA. Now, the setting of the movie, I think I'm going to say in my plot summary, is Chicago, because that's what the synopsis on Amazon said. I don't really think they ever say what city they're in. They talk about St. Louis a lot because he was fired or left the St. Louis PD. So I kind of got the feeling that they were somewhere in Missouri. But the synopsis on Amazon says Chicago. So I'm just
they're in some big city.
Yeah, and they filmed. I was reading it, kind of as we were watching it. I was like, where did they get these sewer scenes? Are these all sets? It's a combination of, they did film an actual
Sewers.
drainage tunnels in LA. So some of it is on location, and then they did build some sets. I figure the wide shots where like you see the huge tunnels and stuff are probably actual locations, and then like the more close ups where you see like the walls and the broken brick walls and stuff probably built on sets and stuff.
Yeah. So if you wanted to know, yes, LA has some big sewers.
Yeah, big sewers underneath the city. And did you know that they also released a tabletop tie-in game in 1980?
No.
Yeah. Oh, we might have to hunt that down. I don't know. But
that probably's expensive.
It probably doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, he probably had to find it for like $400 on eBay or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, why don't you tell him about the box office?
Well, the box office information is as followed.
Okay.
It was released November 14th of 1980.
Mm-hmm.
And a budget of $1.6 million. Could be worse.
Serviceable.
A total box office of $6.5 million.
Okay.
Made its money back.
Yeah.
And ABC bought the TV rights for $3 million.
Oh yeah, back then TV syndication. That's where you sold those rights to those TV stations. That's where you got your real money on these B movies.
They made $3 million off that.
they doubled their budget on the TV rights. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, I've got the trailer queued up, and we're gonna listen to it, and then we'll come back, talk about the cast and crew, the plot summary, and all about Alligator. See you in a bit.
It lives 50 feet beneath the streets. It's 36 feet long. It weighs over 2,000 pounds. And it's about to break out.
You're looking at the one who saw it. And it was big.
You said it was dark. Now, perhaps you were mistaken. An alligator half that size would starve in a week. He kept coming up with some garbage about alligators in the sewer.
Alligators in the sewer?
Once it escaped, there was no way to stop it.
The safety of the public is my job.
It could be anywhere.
There he is.
Ready to attack at any moment.
I've seen what this animal can do. You'd better take all the help you can get.
Keep coming. At first, no one believed it. Now, no one will forget. Alligator.
All right. There the trailer was.
A pretty intense trailer that was.
It was a pretty intense trailer, considering the movie it was for. But yeah. So anyway, cast and crew, directed by Louis Teague, written by John Sayles and Frank Ray Perilli, music by Craig Hunley, and starring Robert Forster, Robin Riker, Michael Gazzo, Jack Carter, Dean Jagger, Sidney Lassick, Perry Lang, Sue Leon, Angel Tompkins, and Henry Silva. And the plot is as follows. In the city of Chicago, ? A local pet store owner is being paid by a pharmaceutical company to obtain and dispose of dog test subjects. The owner has been dumping the dead animals into the sewer system. Unbeknownst to him, an alligator that was flushed down the toilet a dozen years earlier has been feeding on the carcasses, ingesting the growth hormones that were injected into the dogs. As dismembered limbs begin emerging from the sewer system, homicide detective David Madison is assigned to the case. One night, Madison and a rookie officer venture into the sewers expecting to find a madman, but the rookie is killed by the alligator. Madison escapes and tries to convince his boss, Chief Clark, that a giant gator is responsible. Madison and the chief consult herpetologist Marissa Kendall, who tells them it's impossible for an alligator to grow as large as Madison claims while living in the sewers. The department doubts Madison's story until a journalist, hoping for a scoop, goes into the sewer and is killed by the gator. The journalist's camera is recovered, revealing photos of the creature on the film. With evidence in hand, the city launches a full-scale operation to drive the gator out of the sewers. The plan fails, and the gator escapes to the surface. As it runs amok through the city, Madison and Kendall investigate the pharmaceutical company. Its owner, a man named Slade, who is also a major benefactor of the mayor, has Madison kicked off the force. Big game hunter Colonel Brock, brought in to deal with the gator, is soon eaten. The creature eventually makes its way to the wedding of Slade's daughter, where both Slade and the mayor are killed. Madison and Kendall follow the gator back into the sewers, where Madison sets a bomb in its nest. The bomb explodes, killing the gator. In the final scene, another baby alligator is flushed into the sewer as the credits roll. Ooh. Yeah, so, classic, something gets flushed down the sewer, turns into a mutant story.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
A 36-foot mutant.
A 36-foot alligator.
Yeah.
Obviously much larger than any other real alligator, but
they don't even get 15 foot usually.
No, I think the biggest alligator on record, I haven't looked it up, it's probably like 20, 25 foot or something. But yeah, so the movie opens with this little girl. They're at a fair or something where they're doing like alligator wrestling, and some guy's leg gets mangled by the alligator. And they're just selling pet alligators at the fair. I don't know if that was legal even in 1980.
Well, that wasn't that was set in the past.
Well, that had been like 1968, I guess, if the movie is set on the same year it came out. So late 60s.
Maybe.
Maybe you could just hand out baby alligators. But the dad...
Alligator wrestling was legal, so,
Yeah.
Unregulated.
The dad, I guess, comes home one day and finds alligator droppings in the laundry hamper or something and gets mad. And while his daughter's away at school,
at a school science fair.
No. Yeah, he flushes the alligator down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to 12 years later, and that's where we really get into the meat of the story. And I will say that this movie's right at 90 minutes. And I think there's a clear part 1, part 2 to this movie. The first 45 minutes, I think they treat as a pretty self-serious horror movie. Now, there's wit and humor in the script, so it's not super dark and dire, but they try to treat, especially once they go into the sewers, those scenes as legit, tense kind of horror moments. And, as we kind of get into the story, there's dismembered limbs washing up out of the sewer system. We meet Detective Madison, played by Robert Forster. Mm-hmm. You probably know Robert Forster. People nowadays probably most associate him with his supporting role in Breaking Bad. He's dead now. His supporting role in Breaking Bad. I think he also had an Oscar-winning or Oscar-nominated role in Jackie Brown, that Tarantino movie. He's a veteran actor. But anyway.
The first scene you get of him is him purchasing a dog from the local pet shop.
Yeah, he's getting a dog from the pet shop.
After his one got stolen.
Got stolen probably by the same guy.
Yeah.
Because, he meets the pet shop owner. And we'll see the pet shop owner later. There's this pharmaceutical company and we have a scene where when Forster goes to like the sewer plant, which they did film these scenes at a real water reclamation plant in L.A. There's like limbs washing up, and there's a dead dog, and the dog's owner comes up, and she's like, "It's the same color pattern as
Same coloring pattern, same birth scars.
yeah, as whatever her dog's name was." But this little vest fit her just 2 months ago, and now the dog's huge. But anyway, so we learned that the pharmaceutical company, Evil's pharmaceutical company, is testing growth hormones on dogs, making them grow really fast, and they're having this pet shop owner. He goes around and abducts dogs off the street and gives them to them as test subjects, and then he disposes of the dead dogs. And he's putting the dead dogs in the sewer.
Yeah.
And the alligator, of course, they never say outright that this is the alligator from the beginning. Of course, you're left to infer that. I'm glad that we never have a scene where the woman Marissa is like, "Oh my God, that's Ramon."
Ramon.
Which would have been kind of funny. But anyway, so he's dumping the dead dogs in the sewer, and Ramon is eating them and getting to be really big, obviously. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's going on. Robert Forster's on the case. He's, investigating, and he's kind of sniffing around, and he goes to the pharmaceutical company because of the dog, I guess. And
Yeah.
they just kind of blow him off. And, of course, there's this journalist who has kind of been really aggressive and has been, rude to Madison in a press conference, inferring about this incident he had a few years ago in St. Louis where his partner died.
Yeah.
And all this, and we're doing all this. But, listen, at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, I'm expecting it to be pretty campy. It's taking itself pretty seriously, but we do have some fun and some humor. Especially like the chief character is very over the top. Robert Forster makes some jokes. The pet shop owner, of course, is kind of silly. But they also try to build a character with Madison about there's this kind of mysterious past where his partner got shot and killed in St. Louis, but apparently this journalist thinks that it was a weird deal, and he obviously has some PTSD about the whole thing and all of that. But it's about, the first time we don't really see the gator that well, but the first time the gator kills somebody on screen, it's the pet shop owner. He goes to dump some dogs and he gets got.
Yep.
And then, the police think that and the newspapers think that there's a serial killer
In the sewer system.
in the sewer is capturing people and dismembering them. So Madison tries to get someone to one of his fellow officers to volunteer to go down with him, and everybody's got an excuse. And but the rookie decides to go with him, and I like how they kind of tease out this St. Louis event. Like the journalist said something about it, then the rookie says something about it, but they're going down there and they're looking around, and at one point the rookie, Madison turns his back, and then the rookie's gone, and Madison goes looking for him for a while, and then the rookie sneaks up behind him and grabs his butt or whatever and scares him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, first of all, I would have shot that kid on purpose that time. That'd have been an intentional partner shooting. Crawling around in the sewer where you think there's a mass murderer, and he does that. But then, of course, the rookie gets eaten by the alligator.
A little while later.
Well, they walk around some more, and then, and they're trying to get out, but he can't get the manhole cover off. And, Forrester or Madison is above him, and the kid gets his leg got by the gator and gets dragged off. And it's quite a traumatic event
because he was trying to hold on to the rookie, and then he just slipped out of his arms.
And then got dragged off. And then he wakes up in a hospital, and, this nurse says, "You've been rambling on about an alligator." And then the chief comes in and is like, you can't leave yet. And then the journalist comes in, and they kind of blow him off, and Anyway, so then this is where we meet the main female lead, Marissa Kendall. She's a herpetologist that studies reptiles. She's got some snakes, and she teaches at the university, I guess, or the school or something. And she's like, there's just no way that an alligator could get that big in the sewer.
Yeah.
Like you're describing, they would starve to death before they ever got that big. Plus all the noxious chemicals and toxic chemicals and all that. And so, no one believes him. The newspapers are printing stories about how suspicious it is. A second person died on his watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then the journalist, is talking to the nurse or whatever. And she says something about Madison was rambling on about alligators
In the sewer.
in the sewer. So he decides he's going to go look in the sewers himself. And of course, the journalist gets killed, but he snaps some photographs of the gator as it's trying to kill him, and his camera is recovered. And
Not trying. It does kill him.
it does kill him. Yeah. And so they have photographic proof of the alligator, and everyone believes him. But, and then, so then a little over half an hour in, the police department's gathered up their resources, and they're going to go into the sewers, and they're going to basically chase the alligator out through
Flush him out.
flush him out through one hole, and they're going to blast him away. But they somehow miss the gator. And then about the 40, like we've seen the gator kill people, but they've really edited around the gator, and he's been hidden in darkness. So we haven't really got a good look at him. Around the 45-minute mark, almost exactly halfway through this movie, the gator is going to burst up through the concrete and come on land. In the movie, almost immediately, you can feel the tonal shift.
Yeah.
Because, like, as the gator's, like, bursting through the concrete, it does kind of like that cheesy, like, camera shake thing.
Yeah.
And then it bursts up out of the sidewalk, and, there's some kids playing.
The goofy younger teenage
Teenage kids, and they go around. There's the cop driving around, and, like, almost hits a kid and swerves. And
it hits and blows up
his car up, and then he gets eaten by the gator or whatever.
And, all the cops from that point on are like goofy.
Yeah. The movie, like I said, you can immediately tell. I guess this is probably around the point in the movie where the director was like, okay, well, we can't take this alligator prop seriously. So, once he knows that he has to show the prop in its full glory, which we'll talk more about the prop and effects, but he's like, well, we can't, this movie can't be serious. So the movie gets, not totally off the rail, not like into spoof territory or anything, but they know what kind of movie they're making.
Yeah.
They introduced this Colonel Brock character who's very over the top. He's like a sleazy womanizer. He's supposed to be like a
hunter.
Yeah, a big game hunter that they're bringing in. And
think of the guy from, what was it, Lake Placid?
Yeah. Was there a big game hunter in Lake Placid? You're right. There wasn't there? I forgot we did review it. We've already reviewed an alligator movie. We reviewed Lake Placid. Was that an alligator or a crocodile? I think it was an alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they bring him in. He's like a sleazy womanizer. He's always like flirting or, saying something sleazy to the women. And there's this scene where he's like doing an interview and he's like giving the gator calls, and he gives the gator mating call to and he says something about pretty lady to Marissa or whatever. Yeah. And so Madison is taken off the case, and then he goes and he starts sniffing. Him and Marissa start sniffing around the pharmaceutical company again, and he gets fired because the pharmaceutical company is owned by this guy named Slade, this old guy. And his top researcher is his future son-in-law.
Yeah.
But Slade is also like the primary, I guess, benefactor of the mayor. So, he's always threatening the mayor that you won't have a job very long if you don't take this guy off my case or whatever. Very evil pharmaceutical type stuff. Yeah. Evil corporation type stuff. Which is also kind of the overtop element of this movie. And then in the second half also, there's like this romance that just like out of nowhere really like blooms between Madison and Marissa.
Yeah.
David and Marissa. His first name's David. I thought that was just kind of forced out of the blue. But she goes over to his house one night and they sleep together. And then he snaps at her for like no reason in a diner later after he, I guess we had a scene where the Colonel Brock got eaten by the gator and he figures, and then he gets moody and like snaps at her and she goes off. And then he comes back to her mom. She's living with her mom and her mom's again, another very over the top character.
I think she has some kind of mental thing going on.
He thinks that she's always telling her daughter, it's a school night. And her daughter's like, I'm the teacher. and yeah, she's just very goofy. And yeah, and then he like comes back and he's like, I apologize, and says something about how she has a great mind and great tits. What are you doing in his house or something? I was like, it just seemed a little out of, I don't know. The whole romance thing just kind of seemed out of left field. But yeah, we saw, I will say, like the first half, even though it was pretty light on gator action, I thought it moved pretty well. It flowed pretty well. I thought the tension, they were building up the tension, kind of like building up the mystery around the characters and stuff and fleshing out the characters. I will say I had some issues with the pacing in the second half. After the gator breaks out and does his little initial run around the city streets, there's about a 15 to 20 minute period before we see the gator again. And where, like they're running around at the pharmaceutical company and Colonel Brock comes in and all that. And there's a couple of little funny stuff, but I've really started to feel a little bored at that point. And then the gator like eats a kid. Like there's these Halloween party or something or birthday party, and the kids are playing pirate and cowboy or something, and they make the one kid walk the plank, the pool diving board, and they push him into the pool, and the gator's in the pool, and it actually eats the kid.
Yeah.
More violent than you would expect. And so there's that scene, and then a few minutes later is when Colonel Brock like is going down an alleyway and gets eaten. But I don't know. I felt like the romance stuff was like really boring, and I just really started to feel kind of bored in the second half. That is until we have a scene where the cops get on their speedboats on the river or whatever. Yeah. And this is the Jaws moment where they just totally rip off Jaws. I mean, the whole movie obviously is a Jaws cash grab, but
man, it's goofy.
But this is the total Jaws ripoff where the cops are going down the river chasing the alligator, and then it just kind of floats up in front of them, and their boat ramps the gator. Yeah. And then it like flips over, and I think the boat blows up.
Because remember they had grenades in the boat?
They had grenades in it, yeah. And so the grenades get pulled, and it goes boom, and one of the cops is like swimming towards the other boat, and they do the whole like underwater POV almost Jaws theme thing.
Yeah, and one of the cops get drugged under the water.
Yeah, and then the other one gets his legs eaten off as he's getting pulled up on the other boat. And then so Marissa and David hear about this, and so they rush to the scene, and they're like, oh, he went back to the sewer. No.
He went to Slade's place.
Yes, so Slade, they teased this earlier. He was setting up for a wedding outside of his mansion, and his son-in-law is getting married to his daughter or whatever. Or his future son-in-law is getting married to his daughter. Yeah. And I was like, as soon as you saw that, you're like, oh, well, this is going to end with the gator at the wedding. And of course it does. And again, a more serious movie would not have the gator crashing a wedding, but again.
Oh, they're crashing a wedding the way this gator does. He's just slinging people everywhere.
Slade is cooking, barbecuing some hickory smoked ribs or something, and draws in the gator, and he crashes the wedding. Like I said, his tail's whipping around, throwing people everywhere.
He's like swinging people through in his mouth,
in his jaws. Yeah, I mean. And then, like, the mayor, like, the Slade goes and gets in his limo. Yeah. And for whatever reason, the limo driver does not immediately take off. They just sit there forever as the mayor's trying to get in the car. And then the mayor gets eaten. And then the gator smashes up the car and kills Slade. And then David and Marissa pull up, and the guy, totally oblivious, the guy at the gate's like, do you have an invitation? And Slade or David just pulls a gun on him and says, let us in. Yeah. He's like, okay. And
I'll call the police. Go
like,
ahead.
Please do.
Please
So
do.
they pull up and the chaos is happening, and they're like, "Oh, there's a sewer entrance over here." He's gone back to the sewer. Him and Marissa went in earlier and found like the gator's nest in the sewer
Yeah.
or whatever. So they go in and he stole. There was a scene earlier where this guy came in claiming to have done the murders, and he had a quote unquote bomb. He had a timer strapped to his chest.
Yeah.
It's just attached to a radio. Turned out.
Mm-hmm.
But he took the timer and then he took a separate piece of evidence and dynamite they had in the
Yeah.
evidence locker and made a bomb out of it.
I actually made a bomb this time.
And he put it in the sewer and, he gets chased around by the gator a bit, blah, blah. And then he can't get out of the manhole because a car parked on top of it waiting for the garbage truck to move. So you have the scene where Marissa pulls up and like pushes the old lady out from behind the wheel. Did we ever see that old lady get out from that
No.
car? Because the car blows up, right?
Mhm.
That is her car that blows up.
Most likely. I think it was.
And anyway, so she gets him out, and they blow up and kills the gator and blows up the car. And old lady may or may not have died in the explosion,
Mhm.
but yeah. And then the cops show up, and they're like, "Well, we got him." And then they put the manhole cover back on, but they zoom in, and then the pipe leading into the sewer, another little baby gator falls into the sewer.
Oh
And it
boy.
cuts to black, and the credits roll. So, yeah. So, like I said, it's really a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
I think the first movie, you can tell that they're trying to make
part of the movie.
the first half of the movie. You can tell they're trying to make a semi-serious, like creature feature horror
Yeah.
movie type thing, and then the second half, it doesn't ever go like full spoof, full parody, but it's more of a
No.
tongue-in-cheek type of creature feature in the second half, and I appreciate that. I mean, if you don't have Spielberg behind the camera, and you're gonna make a movie about a giant crocodile, you probably would rather have it
Yeah.
be tongue-in-cheek rather than try to be super serious.
Spielberg just, it was a miracle that turned out as where it did.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and with Spielberg, obviously, he was able to do things visually without actually having the shark on screen
Mm-hmm.
to make that movie really tense. And I've got Jaws in our schedule for next summer, by the way. We'll
Ooh.
talk about that later. But he was first of all, the movie's set, on the ocean, or at least the second part of it is. And when you're in the ocean, you can always have the threat of the shark without actually seeing the shark. And then he does some of the visual things with like the barrels and stuff without actually having to show the shark.
The people, being drugged and all that.
Yeah, drug underwater without seeing the shark. But when you have a giant alligator, it's a lot harder to do that kind of stuff without actually showing the alligator. I mean, they
Yeah.
do some of that in the sewers, but I mean, it's an alligator. Eventually, you got to show the alligator and walking. And,
Mhm.
you can't. And then an alligator's scary, but it's not. I don't feel like people have the same kind of primal fear of alligators
as
that
they
you
do.
do of a shark. And on top of that, most directors aren't Spielberg, who are just an absolute master of their craft.
For some reason, sharks are just scary.
Sharks are they're just freaking scary. An alligator, you can see alligators in the broad daylight,
And they're, you're like, I'm not gonna get near that thing, but it's just not
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
I mean, I guess if you're swimming in a bog or a swamp or something, you might not see it coming. It might be kind of scary.
But-
or you jump into your swimming pool in Florida without looking first, and there might be a gator in there. But
not many people swim in swamps and.
yeah, but there's just it's just something about a shark that's really scary, and
Mhm.
the gators don't have. But it still would be pretty scary if it had its jaws open coming at you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I appreciate the fact that I think Robert Forster is actually pretty good in this movie. There's a whole bit that they actually came up with as they were filming the movie where he's like got thinning hair and he's like, someone's always commenting on it and he's really
Yeah.
self-conscious about it.
If you go it out the front more, you can just part it
You can just comb it over.
going over.
Uh,
Nobody would notice.
Yeah. So that was kind of a funny running bit. I mean, the romance stuff, like I said, I think it's out of nowhere and it
Yeah.
really is not that interesting and kind of drags the movie down, and I could care less. And the female lead, she's kind of whatever. I do like the chief. He's appropriately over the top and pretty
Yeah.
entertaining. The Colonel Brock bit was pretty funny, or entertaining enough.
He had those two as like people he was dragging around with him that one night that he got killed.
Yeah, yeah. There's a scene like after the gator gets out on the surface and gets in the lake or whatever, and the cops are like dropping depth charges on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Forster's like walking through the crowd, and there's like the guy like selling the little like rubber gators. What does he say? Something about something if it dangles. I don't remember. It's some kind of bit. So
And then there's this one guy that's walking around
with a gator in a shoebox.
$25 and it could be all yours.
and then yeah, Madison like takes him over to the cops and is like, "Here, book him on possession of an endangered species or whatever." You communist. That was kind of funny. So there was some good wit in this script. When the rewrite, they did a pretty good job. I mean, not perfect. Got some pacing issues for sure, but like I said, I appreciate. The first half, I thought the sewer scenes were filmed pretty well. I thought they were pretty. For what it is. I mean, tense enough, spooky enough. There's a really great shot, I thought, when David and the rookie go into the sewers and like you just see behind them like a real quick glimpse of the gator catching the light. Yeah. Before the rookie gets got.
Well, that was a little bit earlier than that.
Well, it was all the same scene.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I thought the director, I thought Teague, he did what he could with, the subject at hand.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. You can do some creature design?
Sure.
It's an alligator.
It is an alligator.
It's an alligator. Like
just a really big alligator.
It's a really big alligator. So, they, like I said, they accomplish it through a variety of, they do have a full-sized prop that they use. That is, two guys in a suit, back to back, butt to butt. And, with their arms and the legs of the gator, and they use it, I think, as sparingly as possible. And then they have like a head prop that they use for close up that is pretty good. A tail prop that is obviously way oversized, but gets the job done. And then they have footage of real alligators. Real alligator, especially like when his head is just pop out of the water and you see the eyes blinking, is a lot of real alligator footage.
And the far away shots.
Yeah, stuff like that. He's supposed to be between 30 and 40 feet. I think the trailer said 33 feet.
36 feet, the trailer said.
36 feet alligator. So, he's a big boy. He's supposed to be a big boy. I'm rolling into effects. I really, the director said that everybody laughed at the prop. I thought, of course, we watch a lot of really cheesy creature features.
Yeah.
I thought that the prop looked fine for this kind of movie. The only scene that I thought it actually looked pretty bad was the scene where it's chewing on Colonel Brock.
Oh, my God.
And that scene, it looked pretty rough.
It was not the best.
And there was also there was like a compositing shot, or maybe I think it was some kind of compositing shot where like Colonel Brock was walking towards this pile of trash, and then that gator head popped out at him. And I guess they did like a composite shot to make the gator head look bigger in comparison to him than it really was. Yeah. And it looked pretty rough. It did not look very good.
It's the 80s.
But other than that, I thought the set, they did a lot of filming on location in these sewers, and then the sets they built, I thought all that looked really good. I thought it gave the movie a sense of realism. I thought the explosion at the end blowing up the rubber gator was pretty cool. No problem there. They had plenty of extras and everything for the cop force and everything.
Yeah, they had that whole SWAT team.
Yeah, to make the movie feel populated. I mean, the movie cost $1.5 million, so they didn't have a lot of money, but they had a little bit of money. Yeah. So yeah, I thought the effects and the set design and all that were good enough. Good enough for what they were going for.
Yeah.
And then score's pretty minimal in this movie. The only time I really paid attention to it was when he was straight ripping off John Williams in the river scene where the alligator was swimming underwater and you had the underwater POV shots, and he literally just did like a copyright free version of John Williams' Jaws theme.
Yeah, he did.
But the music was pretty minimal other than that, I think. So, which works for this kind of movie, I guess. So, yeah. Anyway. You do some final thoughts?
Sure.
Go for it.
Well, like we've said, this movie, it's not the greatest thing ever put to mankind.
Yeah.
Put the film. But, we've seen way worse, of course. You know, we've been around the block.
Yeah, we have.
And, you know, all in all, I think this movie did good, that accomplished what it set out to do. You know, but be like a capitalize on the Jaws thing. You know, of the time being really popular.
Yeah.
It made money. It made money.
It made money. Yeah. It
It's not-
obviously it wasn't Jaws, but or anywhere close to it, but it
No.
made money.
It wasn't one of these like spoof things that just flopped really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, there's a second one.
Well, there's a direct-to-video sequel. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the acting in it was not bad. The acting was passable.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't mind the female lead. She did pretty good. She did better than I think the last few really cheesy female leads we've had.
Yeah.
And any lead we've had.
Well, I'll grant you the last few weeks, yeah.
That's what I said, the last few films we've done. Because, you know, we've gotten the really cheesy films here lately.
Yeah, we have.
Which is, you know, it's bound to happen with the genre we picked to do.
Yeah. We're going to run out of the good ones. We have ran out of the good ones.
Hey, we ran out of them a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the effects look good. You know, all in all, it's not bad. Nothing is too outlandish, sticking out, makes you just like, wow, that's like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think the not really big score in this movie.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it's there, but it's not prominent.
Yeah.
Like some movies make it out to be.
Yeah.
And I think I'll give this movie, I'll give it a C+.
Yeah, listen, I mean, like you said, this is one of many, you know, cash grabs made in the wake of Jaws. And I think this is probably better than most.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, they picked a creature that is pretty cool, an alligator. And the crew was pretty competent.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what kind of movie they were making. They didn't try to make it Jaws. They didn't try to make it
No.
nearly as self-serious. Obviously, they didn't have the cast of Jaws, the director of Jaws,
The budget of Jaws.
budget of Jaws, the creature of Jaws, you know. But they knew what they had, and they did the best that they could. I thought the script was pretty witty, pretty self-aware. I thought Robert Forster was really good as the lead. Yeah, the second half I think has some pacing issues and a forced romance that wasn't necessary. I could have done with a little bit more gator action in the first and second half probably. But you know, I thought that the sewer scenes were tense enough in the first half, and I liked the way they filmed the sewer scenes. I had enjoyed the gator attacks in the second half. You know, it's 90 minutes, so doesn't overstay its welcome too long. I thought that the gator was pulled off. I know they said that the crew laughed about it, but I thought they pulled the gator off pretty well for the most part. You know, yeah. You know, I thought a lot of the supporting characters were appropriately over the top and funny. So yeah, I mean, not a great movie by any stretch, but a lot better than it could have been.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It feels like about a C+ movie for me. So, but we have a direct-to-video sequel next week, and
yeah,
probably won't be a C+. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but just from what I've read, but, we'll find out next week. But anyway, not much on the news front. I did see that Alamo Drafthouse will show Return of Godzilla on November 3rd for Godzilla's birthday, accompanied by some exclusive merchandise. So too bad we don't have a draft house near us. There was plans to build a draft house in Fayetteville, but those plans seem to be kind of in flux right now. I think the closest draft house to us is like in Springfield, Missouri or something. So
ooh, that's a while.
it'd be over like a 3.5 hour drive. So we're probably not going to go to the draft house to watch Return of Godzilla, but we are going to watch Godzilla 1985 as we talked about for Godzilla's birthday. But other than that, the only other news I got is the schedule, which is, of course, Alligator 2, The Mutation next week. I've started some preliminary work on our schedule for next year. We're going to have a shark summer starting around Memorial Day through G-Fest. We're going to rotate Jaws and Deep Blue Sea movies.
Oh, boy.
So that'll be fun. I also wanted to inform the listeners that I did realize that Troll 2, the sequel to that Nordic troll movie, is coming. It's premiering on Netflix December 1st. So I put it on the schedule, I think, for the week of Christmas. So be on the lookout for that. And I put the Ultraman Omega recap tentatively for the first week of January, assuming that the show is wrapped up by then. So, be on the lookout for that. But anyway, Andrew, is that it?
Well, that might be it.
I think that's about all we got. So don't forget that you can always contact us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com.
And you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And of course, you can always find us on Facebook at Stomp This Way. So, yep, next week, direct to sequel, Alligator 2, The Mutation.
You mean direct to video sequel?
Yeah, whatever I said.
You said
And
direct to sequel.
direct to sequel. It also is a direct to sequel. No, just kidding. And it can also be found on Amazon Prime. So there you go. But which is what we watched Alligator on today. But anyway, that's all we got for you this week. As always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we will see you next time.